I was in New York and this guy comes up to me and he's like, yo, Will, or like Fresh Prince, like what should I call you? And I was like, yo, like, you know, call me Jabari.
This is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Oh my God.
Oh, Cassie, you look great. I love to see you.
Wow. Oh my God. We're back. Season 2. What are the memories that you all get when you sit in this foyer?
Hours and hours.
It's not in here, but it's right over in the kitchen when we were doing that breakfast scene.
Are you talking about the one where Cassie was like, "Good morning, Phil"?
It
was like hour, like
Because we had done that scene all day, and finally I was just cracking up. When I get tired, I start to have laughing fits, and also it was my line. I was like,
That was like my first, like one of my first scenes eating.
Oh,
and so
really?
nobody told me, don't eat. Yeah, this y'all smacking, cuz.
I'm excited just to be back for season 2. People think of us as like these people who just do this show, right? But you know, we're all up to so many things. So like Coco, like somehow this woman was able to release a whole album of songs. I could sing some of them for you, but
You're really good. No, do it.
how has it been for you trying to balance both these careers at the same time?
I think if I could have my own perfect world, I would be able to have acting and music start at different times in the year, but they definitely bleed into each other pretty much every other day. Sometimes I feel like pressured, honestly, because they're both very important to me. I would not have an EP of projects if I didn't leave this set and go to the studio every night. You know, like how would I get the songs to pick from? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I want it to be a reflection of me, so I have to give it my all, and that just means I'm giving all of myself to two things. Helping
Which
the
you
God
can't give
that I do.
100% twice.
I know,
can't,
and that's the scary part.
So tell me why we're not celebrating you having a paying job.
Because, Mom, I'm not sure about some of the requirements they were asking for of me.
It's a position at Haute Cuisine. Is this not what you've been building towards?
What I've been building towards, or what you've been building towards?
I feel like as artists, we always get put in a box, right? It's like, you do this thing.
And especially too when you're like playing an iconic role. Like, what has been the biggest negative?
There's always a lot of pictures and a lot of just attention when you're just doing normal,
you feeling like you
normal
liked it?
things. I do.
You
I
like
love
it?
it though. I love
Be like, hey!
I love
I'm
it.
like,
I'm a type of person that loves it. Just because I love people. I was in New York and this guy comes up to me and he's like, yo, Will, or like Fresh Prince, like what should I call you? And I was like, yo, like, you know, call me Jabari. Like, my name is Jabari, you know? And so it's interesting. The purpose of even why we're here right now is to speak about that.
Yeah.
Like, who is Olly?
Damn, that's crazy. Well, I wanna ego out by 30, first of all, which is a crazy goal. But I think that in setting unrealistic goals for myself, I think it helps me excel, but also it's kind of a double-edged sword, right? Because when you don't hit those goals, I think there's an element of, oh, I'm not good enough, or an element of, if I had just, when in reality, you know, sometimes with the way this business is, there is no if I adjust. Stuff will happen when it, and like, I feel like you both can speak to this more
30's
than
so
us.
young. Like, if you get the EGOT at 30, what's up for 40,
No, that's
50,
Right.
60,
No,
70?
you're right.
You just put the work in. Where focus goes, energy flows. So if you focus on what you want, everything else that you want will fall into place if you just give it the attention that it needs at the time.
If our situation came to light, Will wouldn't be the only one that suffers.
So all those lectures you gave me about justice and following the rules or doing the right thing, that was all bullshit.
You guys have had these long careers, and I'm curious, how did you feel about the trajectory of your lives and being here now, being this part of culture? Like, is it how you thought it would pan out for you guys?
I mean, I just wanted to be a part of a narrative that was going to inspire and be important to the culture. And so, yes, this is a blessing. I just didn't know what form it was going to come in. Yeah. And I would have never thought in a million years I'd be playing Uncle Phil. Right?
They're like, it's not Uncle Phil, this Daddy.
But honestly, I just let go and let God, and I'm just grateful to be here.
I mean, I always thought my career would be sort of exactly what it is, like this like buffet. And I'm like, there's so many choices. So I never saw myself like, I'm only gonna act. You know, I was like, oh, I'm gonna act, I'm gonna do some stand-up, I should do, you know, I'm gonna build a company, which I'm building a company right now called Creatricity. When I started at 15 years old in 9th grade, starting acting, I always knew I'd be an actor, and every time someone would say, you know, some of you in this room will be major actors, but most of you won't. It never occurred to me he wasn't talking to me. I was like, I'm obviously the person he's talking to.
Right.
And I remember someone said to me, if you heard that part of that it's not you and you believed it, then it's not you. I'm saying that maybe I shouldn't accept this fellowship. I mean, they want me lecturing all over the world for a year, and we're gonna need somebody here to hold down the home front.
I can do that. Let me do that.
As DA, Phil, you are not superhuman.
It's a very 1%er mindset.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Put that in any category though, not just acting.
I agree. It's so inspiring to be around artists who love art in the same way that I did. Because you know, when you surround yourself with people who have that same ambition, it's really fulfilling.
And I think that's why the first day I met you and we did this, even on Zoom, I remember being like, oh man, talking about being born for something.
Akira, what has been your experience working with all of us? I mean, we're all a lot older than you, and you're the baby.
I feel like working with a cast older than me, I learned so much being on set, learning how to be patient and to stay focused.
How do you even balance your personal life and your education life all with this show? I didn't even realize that you went to school. I thought school was here.
Well, I do like online school, but I also go in person sometimes because I still like to have the dynamic of being a regular kid, other than, you know, being in the industry and all this stuff. So when I go home, I'm just Akira. But when I'm like on set and stuff, I do chores. I gotta do laundry.
You got like 17 siblings, girl, you working.
Yes, take care of all my siblings. Literally, like, I have a little brother, and I'm over here holding him in one arm, making cereal in the other arm. It's really like...
Yes, making cereal.
Making cereal. You gotta make that cereal.
so grueling.
Finding the right spoon, she's like, oh my God.
So what is school like?
When I first went to that school, I was fully in person. I didn't tell anybody my Instagram that I was like on anything because I just like, if they found out, then they found out. But I also just want to separate it. Like, I don't want people to know like that.
If it was up to you, would you have them not know at all?
Yeah.
Really?
Because they just act so different, and that's why I don't really have any friends at school. I just don't know what their intentions are.
Akira, stop, you'll make me cry. You're gonna make me cry right
No, like
now.
purposely.
I would just say, like, I feel like you already know you have like core people around you, and that's the most important thing. Like, but also, I kind of taught myself to like categorize people, because sometimes you want to go out with people and you know, okay, they're looking at me a little differently. They do not see me as normal, but I know that that's who they are, and they're put in that box. And then I know I have these other people who are actually rooting for me, and I'll tell them when I'm really sad or when I have something that's really going on. But I don't think that you have to completely close yourself off, because you're gonna be much bigger than you are right now.
You'll probably get your EGOT at 25.
Hill, so I have this friend that I have a crush on, and I think this friend likes me, but hasn't said that. What do I do?
Does the friend have a name?
Lucia.
That's a pretty name.
Remember after our first table read, and I was like, yo, like, we're gonna be Will and Carlton, like, let's go hang out, and we drove around LA. We were so wide-eyed at how our lives are about to change.
Right, we didn't really know, and now it's happened, and now we're in the thick of it. I think it's amazing because we're taking on these iconic characters that the world already knows.
How do you make sure you don't lose yourself in that?
Man, that's a tough question, because you know what's crazy? I used to wear this hoop earring in my left ear last season. And I wore that up until maybe July of 2022. So that was like after we had stopped filming season 1, I was still Will.
How is
you know what I
Jabari
mean?
different than Will?
I think it's when I separate from the camera, from the lights, from everybody, I get to like tap into an artistic side. Like if it was me, like I would shave my head and dye it pink. That's
He
Jabari.
did that.
You did do that.
Let the record show.
He did that.
And I did that. And but that's Jabari. Like that's me. I'm less I guess put together than that.
Sure.
And did you do that to to separate yourself after we finished shooting, just so that you could feel like yourself?
Yeah, to a
like
degree,
Jabari?
because I felt so much like Will. I think my whole life people have told me like, oh man, you kind of resemble Will, or you have his energy, and so like I've always seen myself as like I'm an extension of him, and even more so now.
And how do you deal with being an extension of the biggest movie star, maybe in the history of existence?
Right.
Like that's
It's
that's crazy.
It's a lot of pressure for sure. It could be a lot of pressure, but I take the pressure off of it. Like I wake up every day and I just want to have fun because I just see this as such a blessing.
Well, we salute you for the incredible work that you've brought to the show, and just the energy and just the foundation that you've helped create here, because without you, we would not have such a great show.
I learned from it. Because I'm the one that got snatched out of Philly and sent out here to Bel-Air. Me. Not you, me.
What do you think is the most rewarding part and challenging part of being on Bel-Air?
For me, the most rewarding part of being on Bel-Air is getting to be a part of a narrative that is so relevant to the current temperatures that we're in and the culture.
The biggest challenge for me is I don't live here. There have been times where I'm just like in the makeup chair and I just start crying because I come home to an empty house. Right
See,
now.
I'm so mad at you. I live 15 minutes from you.
She didn't want to be with your ass. She wants her son. She wants her real son.
I'm in that makeup chair, or when I'm even like about to come on set and I get really heavy. I have certain things I do that try to keep my head above water when I feel really anxious and sad about it. The main thing I do is I send so many videos to my son, and we send videos back and forth. I'm like, hey, this is what mommy's doing, and he'll send me a video. And then I think to myself, the best thing that you can ever do as a parent is to show your kid how happy you are. Because if your kid sees how happy you are, they assume that they're the thing that makes you happy as well. Baby, I know this hasn't been easy, but your father and I wouldn't ask you to do anything we didn't think you were capable of. We love you, and you will always be our first priority.
So like, obviously, you're Carlton.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you got so much hate and animosity online for your, obviously, like, fantastic portrayal of Carlton. Like, did that take a toll on you?
There is a little part of me, and it's the little kid part of me. There remembers in middle school when I first came to the States, they used to call me Melonhead. Yeah. And like, it's funny now to think about. And this kind of feeds into my slight anxiety about being in public sometimes, which is that I think it bleeds over. I've had people like grab me before. Oh yeah, all the time.
Really?
I've had people like grab me of like, yo, when I saw you on that show, I wanted to. And it's like, I totally get it, but you did grab me from behind. You know what I'm saying? You grabbed me from behind. You grabbed my shoulder. It's like, yes, I get it. You're making a joke, but like, I thought I was about to get my ass beat. Like, what's going on?
About to square up.
Like, you know.
It's so inspiring, bro. Like, to see, honestly, just because like, I want to give you your flowers because you are such a vital part of the success of the show. Like,
And you are the most complicated character.
yes.
Thank you.
You stopped me from using today. I was this close right after you left. But then I thought about what you said. So I'm letting you know. Thank you.
Beyond Hilary, beyond Bel-Air, I'm definitely a musician, singer. I do it because I love music, you know what I'm saying? Like, that has to be, it has to be done to get where I want to go, but beyond all of that, I'm really just regular.
Beyond Ashley, I think I spend most of my time with my family, and I am an activist for mental health. It's super important to check up on people and make sure that they're doing good, because you never know what people are going through.
I feel that there's a lot of things that I want to do, but I feel like this has always been my biggest dream. This is telling stories, being a storyteller.
I'm like the most chaotic human. Like, I really am just the most chaotic person I know. If I wasn't doing this, I'd probably be like an interior designer.
Word?
Yeah, I love interior design.
Word?
I love interior
I thought
design.
you were gonna say fashion because you'd be dripped down.
I love fashion too. I'm a musician as well, and I have music coming out soon, and I'm super excited about it.
I'm not just funny, I'm not just academic minded. I love people, and I just want to be of service to people, and I also want to bring the best out of people.
I'm Olly Sholotan. I am a musician. I am an actor. I'm a music producer. I'm a writer.
Gentlemen.
You my friend.
I love to create, and And the idea of creating as a living has been, I think, the only dream I've ever had. And it's really special to get to do it with all of you.
And I've always wanted to do a roundtable situation. So,
Yeah.
so
What can I say?
All right, well, I love y'all.
Love you too.
Let's bounce.
Okay, period.
out of here.
All right.